I'm using a light pink chalk fabric pencil to create the little flick up lines on the ruler at the 1/4 inch mark, just enough so that I'm able to see when I flip the fabric vertically and line up my marks where everything stands. And then I'm going to eye it, really. I have to flatten the material out here, and I'm going to take my finger and just run it along the top in order to do that. And then it's a matter of just running the pencil along and leaving a very light pink line. And this is all going to wash out after I've put my stitches in. So let's just speed that up. And what I'm going to end up with are two 2x4 inch pieces of fabric with the grid on. Ta-da! So I've cut myself a piece of thread that's about 18 inches long, and I'm working with 6 strands, so it's quite thick, and I'm keeping the end quite short, and I'm just wetting it with a little bit of tea rather than licking it so that I can get the crease in there. And now I'm going to straighten the threads out. They'll get twisted at some point, so it's nice to start with a nice straight length. And I'm going in along a 1/4 inch grid, in and out, up and through, down the length of the 4 inches of the canvas. And I'll speed it up a little bit here until we get to the end. Then I pull it all the way through. It's really difficult. I'm struggling with the thickness of the canvas and the thickness of the thread, but it's worth it because I really like the boldness of the line that it creates. And when I go in for the second line, I'm careful not to pull the thread too tight. I want to be able to have some leeway in the stretch of the rows between, because they tend to tighten up over time. You want to be able to have some wiggle room. So I'm struggling a bit, not so much the second time, but let me tell you, by the end of sewing up these 2 pieces of fabric, my right hand finger the fingers are really tired from pulling the needle through. So I've got 2 rows now. And at the end, this is where I'm keeping it nice and loose so that there's a little wiggle room when I pull the stitches through and keep them nice and stretched and taut. And what's happening here is I'm alternating the stitches. So where one goes in on one row, it goes out on the other row. So again, alternating stitches. I'm really struggling with the needle pulling it through. You can see my fingers are quite tightly pulling on this. But again, I really do like what I'm seeing. And I'm just checking the length. I've got enough thread, so I'm going to go all the way through. I won't re-thread my needle until now when I go on the 4th line. And now I'm going on the 5th line. And you can see that the stitches are alternating row to row. And then I've got one more line to do, and then I'll start going vertically. So, and again, keeping it nice and loose at the end. Pulling it taut. And holding that loose stitch. And then the last row, getting that in, we'll go a little bit fast, and then things start to come together quite nicely when we start doing the stitches going in the other direction. Next, I'm going to do the same stitch alternating again vertically. It's what's known as the linked step stitch, or dan tsunagi. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. What we're looking at here is a basic running stitch, one stitch, known as the hitomotashi technique. We'll let the step stitch begin. Or do we? Where am I headed? Okay, I think. Am I getting the hang of this? Not yet. There, here we go. There we go. Okay, pull, stretch. There we are. Yep. Now, where are we? How do we get the next one going? That doesn't look right. Does it? Well, we'll get to the end and we'll take a look. Yeah, it's happening. Okay. I get the pattern. Oh, it's more intuitive than I thought once you get going. And it's a lot easier to pull the thread through. I'm now using 3 threads instead of 6 because I want to have a little bit of a difference in the look between the 2 white pieces of canvas. There we go. Yep. Keep going. At the angle and in and out. Matching up exactly where the threads end on each row. Stabbing away at the fabric. And again, easily coming back through, leaving a little bit of a loose area here. Just checking it. Yep. Going in at an angle and whipping through this, slowing down to pull it through. It's actually quite soothing to be getting into the swing and just slow stitching. Just pulling on each of the threads. I pulled it a little too tight. There we go. Yeah, we're back to having a good tension. Taking a little break and go in at an angle. There you go. Come on. Nope. Which way were we? Taking a break can really throw me. Here we are. That's it. You're right. Come on. There, we can speed it up now. We're feeling it. And keeping it loose at the end. In and out. Come on. You got this. Dan Tsunagi. The linked step. At an angle, in out. Almost done. The race is on. Yep. One more. There we go. The last stitch on this one. Still keeping it loose. Stretching it out. And we are done. Feels so good. Looks so good. There we are. Ta-da! Now for some sparkle. We've got the metallic thread that I got in Paris. And how do I get the end of the thread? I think this is it. Yeah. Yep. I've loosened it. Good. And so now let's just cut a little piece and see if we can get that through the eye of the needle. It's really thick, and the eye of the needle is really thin in order to make sashiko stitching easier. It's the same size as the needle, and this is not going to work. So let's use the threader. Let's see if we can get it through the big eye here. Yep, we did. Okay, and is it going to come easily through the eye of the needle? Not really. Okay, pull. Good. Did it. Now we can start. We'll just straighten out the curly thread. And let's get going. Get the tea out of the way. Don't want to knock it over. Get these things out of the way. Which one do I want? I am going with the smaller one because I think it could use the texture. And then the sparkle. Okay, so it goes diagonally. But which way do I hold it? I'm so upside down and backwards visually. This way, well, I can try it because you can always just pull the thread out. Oh, I think I got it, by George. I did. We're going in the right direction. Ho, ho, ho. Okay, let's speed it up now that we know what we're doing. And are we going in the right direction this time? Yeah, I think so. Yep, good. Just these little tiny flecks of sparkle. And cut off the end there so it doesn't get in the way. And I've got to keep stretching this so that it doesn't tighten up on me. Yeah, we've got 2 rows diagonally going in the right direction, in the right order. And let's see if we can continue. Yep. It's just getting into the little V and creating the hawk feather is what it's called. So it's gone from the staircase to the hawk feather. Keeping it loose there, yeah. Stretching it out, holding the knot, yeah. And back into the little V. There's something about sashiko stitching that I've noticed. Maybe it's the repetition of the stitches that have me able to access being in the moment, getting in tune with my breath. It's like a good yoga practice. And I do have one where I repeat the same movements over and over and over again. And this has been going on for quite a few years, where I don't think about the exercises anymore. I just listen to the instruction of what comes next, and I'm not concentrating on actually doing the exercise. I'm concentrating on just moving into position and the differences that I feel from day to day, and being with the moment, being with the breath. Oh, look at this. It's looking good. And with this particular piece, what I've noticed is the glint of the needle, the glint of the thread as it's pulled through. There's something very, very satisfying about that. And I'm quite enjoying my slow stitching practice that I really did just pick up this winter. I had a group of things that I wanted to do to make the winter a little bit more enjoyable than winters have been in the past for me, and sewing was one of the things I put on the list that I would do more often than I had been in the past, and it really has served me well. I'll definitely be keeping it for next winter, and I'm wondering I may even keep it for spring, summer, and fall. Okay, so we're getting there. I'm really looking forward to stitching the pieces together to create the ball, to create the pin cushion. I'm not quite sure. I'm probably going to make a couple of these and use them for different things. There's an exercise ball that you can use it as, and it depends on what the filling would be that I'd put in. But my hands do get stiff after working with them for a while, so I think it'd be kind of fun to have little exercise ball that I can just pick up and play with and keep my hands moving in a good motion. Okay, so we're just checking on the tension of the thread here. Got to keep it quite even, and those little loose loops at the ends really do help to be able to keep that happening. And I think we're done. Oh, maybe we're not. A few more stitches to go. I'm going through an awful lot of thread here. Okay. Now I think we're done. Cutting off the last little piece of thread. Yep. Oh, there's something so satisfying in doing this. That glint. So here we are, the two of them next to one another.